Good day. So today we have the privilege of speaking to Guy Holwill. He's the CEO of Fairbairn Consult. He's also a Liverpool supporter and just visited Anfield recently, by the way. So Guy, what's Fairbairn Consult? What does your business do?
So we are a firm of financial advisors. We've got just under 200 people at the moment and growing really rapidly. It's a completely national business. Advisors literally all over the country. I'm looking after every aspect of clients' financial affairs, so from medical schemes, short-term investments, insurance, life insurance, employee benefits, that entire suite of stuff. Whatever it is people need, we can help them with.
So I had the privilege of chatting to you a few years ago when you started your business. You started your business in COVID.
Well,
tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, okay, so we technically started just before COVID. We started on Monday, the 2nd of March, 2020, and the first COVID case in South Africa was Thursday, the 5th of March. So
you didn't plan that. That was not your business plan.
No. So all of a sudden we were sitting at home going like, how on earth are we going to do this, right? I mean, we had big launch plans of getting out there, talking to people, it's a brand new business, it's a new concept. Yeah. And suddenly we're going, oh boy, we're in lockdown. How's this going to work?
I thought you were insane, by the way.
Well, we'd done all the planning. We'd worked really hard for the best part of a year to kind of get everything in place. The first advisors joined us on that Monday, and I remember one of the guys phoning me because the lockdown started on the 27th, so a couple of weeks later the lockdown started, and he phoned me and said, "What have we done? We just made the biggest mistake of our lives, right?" But we made it through, right? So for the first sort of 2 years of our existence, we had all that COVID stuff and all the uncertainty. It's only just over 18 months that we've had masks off. It feels like it's either like the longest or shortest time of our lives, right? Yeah. And it's kind of simultaneously both, which is weird. Yeah. There's still sometimes I kind of go, did that actually happen?
So now 2024, how many advisors do you have?
Yeah, so just under 200. There's two sides of the business. There's the sort of retail side, which is sort of normal financial advisors as we would decide. There's an institutional side as well. Looks after big corporates and big retirement funds. There's 50 people on that side and about 200 on the retail side. Yeah, so in all together, 250 advisors. And then there's a whole bunch of admin assistants and what have you in other people's practices. So all in, the whole business, it would be 350 people.
Sure, so no regrets.
Yeah. Oh, hell, no way. No, it's been amazing.
I need to ask this question. You grow that quickly. Tell me about your culture. Well, is it 3 years, 4 years?
Just be 4 years next week, 2 weeks.
Yeah, 4 years. Well, congrats. So 350 staff members, how do you develop a culture so quickly? Tell me about your leadership style, your structures. Yeah. Something you said to me a while back, when I asked you this, one of the things you said to me that struck with me was you trust your people.
Yeah. So, there's a Richard Branson quote on this, which I believe in completely. And that is, he said, this story of looking after your clients is just nonsense. He said, you look after your staff and your staff look after the clients. And that's exactly the philosophy we've taken, right? I don't try and look after the end clients. I know we have we're about 50,000 end clients that we look after now. I look after our advisors and my staff, my head office staff, and they look after the clients. And you trust people to do that, right? You really just, you trust people and you enable them, you do whatever you need to do to help them to be able to do that. But fundamentally is trust in that, right? You're not looking over people's shoulder.
So it's not micromanagement at all. One would imagine, like in the early stages of the business, you want to have a lot of controls in place.
Anyone who's started a business will know you don't have much control in the beginning. It's pretty chaotic. Yeah. And you have to be quite comfortable with that level of chaos.
But your environment, obviously, there's a lot of regulations. So you got your compliance structures.
But there's no systems and process, right?
Okay.
So you've got to build those as you go along. Yeah. And you've got to be comfortable at times, someone says, well, how does this work? We're supposed to have that? Okay, we better get that, right? And so you build all those things. And so you've got to be comfortable with a fairly high level of chaos, of uncertainty. You put together, obviously you have business plans and all that kind of thing that they change every 3 months as a business grows, right? So that initial phase, you've also got to be unbelievably optimistic. I'm a real optimistic person. And I think to build businesses, that's overwhelmingly one of the biggest things you need is sort of blinding optimism that you can. Otherwise, you would just see all the problems. Yeah. You would just find all these reasons why it can't work, and there are lots of them. Trust me, there's always lots of them. But you kind of go, no, we'll figure it out.
So, okay, so your leadership style is really to trust people, but also equip people.
Absolutely.
To trust them, you've got to equip them.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, how does that look?
If you were to ask the guys, what do they like about Fairbairn, a whole bunch would tell you they love the fact that they've got my phone number and they can phone me whenever they want. And then within my sort of small head office team, I mean, we've got a fantastic culture within that team. It's a real group of can-do people. And it's interesting, you hear people say, hire on attitude, you can teach skills, but most of you don't get past HR with that, right? Yeah. The CV doesn't even get, but we've done that. We've really deliberately hired on attitude. We've hired people with lots of experience. We've hired people literally brand new to the whole industry, and people are starting in jobs that they kind of, I'd like to do that, but I don't really know what it involves. We go, cool, we can teach you.
I mean, I also have some experience in that industry, and I've seen contexts where there's a lot of controls and a lot of micromanagement to achieve a bottom line. So when you work with the advisors, I'm sure you want results. They want results.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, and I've said this at pretty much every one of our conferences, that as a business, we have one route to success only, and that is by advisors being successful. There's no other possible way we can be successful as a business. And so, we've got a massively vested interest in advisors' success. And we've run a number of programs to sort of help people. We don't force them into it. It's all voluntary as to what you need to do. But as you say, it's about enabling, right? It's about genuinely wanting people to be successful. You can say it, you can put a sign on the wall, but that means nothing. It's got to be something that you sincerely want.
So you're saying it's equipping people and then trusting them. I think that's coming through strongly.
Yeah.
You've got to enable them for success, and then creating that environment of trust and also accountability, I'm sure.
Yeah, and look, not everyone makes it. Sure. That's it, in I guess in any professional service. There are people who are vastly more successful than others. But we've given a lot of people a shot. And we've got some people who are spectacularly successful.
Something that I was looking at one of your conferences online, and what really struck me, which I know you're very proud of, and I wanted to talk about that, was the transformation in your business. I saw a rainbow nation. And I've seen a lot of brokerages. You talk transformation, but the realities are there. You just need to take a look. And I saw your conference and you had a group shot.
Yeah.
That was fascinating. Yeah. How did you get that done?
So it was one of my fears when we were designing the business and thinking about my fears was I was going to build an old age home for white men. Yeah. Because it was all built with a regulatory lens, and there's some new regulation which is still coming, which is awesome for us because it's a big tailwind. But it really means the sort of the mom and pop independent advisor, the 1 and 2 man bands. This regulation is going to make it incredibly difficult for them. Elsewhere in the world, what's happened is they've joined big broker networks, whatever you want to call them, like what we've created. So that's going to happen still. But there's a whole bunch of these old white guys out there, and there was a real fear. It most certainly has not materialized, as you say. Yeah. It's just a fabulously diverse group of people.
Did you have targets at the beginning? How did you land on this? That for me it was very unusual.
So so we didn't have targets. But again, what we did, it's about an inclusive culture, right? Yeah. It's an environment where people go, oh wow, I feel welcome here. And we've had guys recently. We've had 3 guys who've moved to us because the place where they were previously, business similar to ours, they said I didn't feel welcome. That's something that, as you say, massively proud of, massively proud of. And it's not just race. It's age. It's gender. Yeah. There's diversity on multiple different axes, which is really awesome. Right down to the years of experience. We've got a couple of people who are just starting out, so months of experience. Yeah. We've got someone who this year will have 52 years in the industry. That's amazing, right?
I know it is. Final question, just to, I think maybe encourage, one of our topics that we deal with is what to look for in a financial planner. So when we deal with companies, we say you need to select a financial planner.
Yeah.
So what would your advice be when a client is looking for a financial advisor and they come into your firm? Yeah. What should they look for in a financial planner?
So it honestly, it's a fit. Okay. It's a fit in terms of what are you, as the client, what are you looking for? What kind of person are you looking for? And sometimes it's not even a case of good or bad, it's just fit, right? Because maybe if I'm a super detail-orientated person, I want a planner who's going to be detailed, sure, right? I mean, I want someone who's technical and what have you. If I'm the, I'm not detail-oriented, I've got a planner because he needs to take care of the detail. That's, again, it's there. And so, I think with planners, you can have we've all done that, right? You've had a meeting with someone, scheduled for an hour, and 5 minutes in, you go, we're wasting each other's time, yeah, right? Yeah. So have that 5 minute or 10 minute, and do it online. Sure. You can do that on Zoom, right?
And just test for fit.
You just test for fit. Yeah. Then, and if the fit works, then sit down and have a proper meeting, right? Then but you know you're not wasting each other's time, yeah, right? So I think it's a strategy that I'm starting to use more and more now when I meet with people. If someone they want to come and join us, is first of all just a short online meeting, better than a phone call, right? Because you're getting some visual cues as well. And you're just going like, what are you looking for? What do we offer? Does that work?
Okay, so there is a fit now. Are you looking for qualifications? Or what?
Oh, yeah. So the qualifications, so there's a whole bunch of phase piece, and we assume that's all in place, right? The person's appropriately.
So you've got to ask for that as a client.
You got to check that's all there. That does matter. There are then various different professional qualifications that you can do. So postgraduate diplomas in financial planning, and you could do become a certified financial planner. They're important, but they're not essential. Okay. There's very good, very experienced advisors who don't have those qualifications. Okay. Again, it's a bit of it's a horses for courses thing on that. So the qualifications are there, and then you need to sort of test out, well, what kind of planning does this person do, right? Because like any other profession, doctors, you get general practitioners and you get specialists, okay, right? And if you're looking for a broad range of advice and your affairs aren't very complicated, well, a good general practitioner is perfect. Okay. If you've got really complicated affairs, you need a specialist, right? And better still is if there can be a connected group of specialists. So I can, like a law firm, right? Where if you need labor law, you go talk to the labor lawyer. If you need tax, go to tax. Same with the planner, right? If I'm dealing with complicated investment stuff, big amounts of money where it really matters a lot, you want a real investment specialist. If you're trying to sort out, medical schemes for all your employees in the company, or implement a pension fund for your company, again, you want someone that's what they do. They understand how those employee benefits work. So again, it's what are you looking for? What does that person offer? Does that fit work? And then I guess lastly is important is, what is the range of products they have behind them? Because some of the stuff is somewhat generic. Some of the stuff, there's very big differences between them. And again, it's not a case of necessarily better or worse, but it's a case of, is it the right product for you and the needs that you've particularly got? And will that person be able to give you that?
Okay, and then final question, and maybe you can just, for our audience over there, for leaders out there, business owners, heads of departments, just how do you invest in your people? What encouragement can you give to them? We all want the bottom line. Yeah. Every business owner wants the bottom line. Every head of department wants the bottom line. How would you encourage us?
This really happened last year at my team's mid-year conference. We spoke about strategy for about half an hour. Everyone knew the strategy already, so There was nothing new for that. We then had everyone bring along, and it's only about 10 people, so it's a small group of people, right? We had everyone bring along a photograph of themselves. We then drew names randomly out of a hat, and we went off to art jamming, and then we had to paint a picture of your colleague, right? So you had to stare at a photograph of your colleague for an hour, butchering at an awful painting that you were doing of there, but it was kind of cool. And then we went back to the hotel we were staying, and we gave everyone half an hour to tell their life story, as far back as they knew about their ancestors, dwelling on their parents, and then their own story. And it was interesting. People thought, I'm going to be done in 2 minutes, right? There's nothing to tell. But of course there's not. Of course there's history there, right? And it was awesome. I mean, it was absolutely awesome, just learning cool things about people, stuff that I could have worked with them for another 20 years and I still would never have found that out. And it was like genuinely getting to know the person as a person, right? You know them as a colleague. You know, how was your weekend? You know what their kids' names are, but you don't, you know, finding out stuff about like what happened with their grandparents and this and that. It just gives you a fabulous insight into the person, you know, who they really are. So I would unreservedly recommend people do that. It's amazing. You
Invest in your people.
But to say, it just comes down to like, you know, give a shit. It is that easy. Just actually care.
No, it's fascinating. Guy, thanks for this. It was great. To our audience over there, to companies, I think it's important that we always speak about investing in your people, focusing on your people to achieve your strategic objectives and outcomes, as opposed to focusing on the bottom line. Focus on your people. Thank you again for joining us. And remember, as we always say here, 360 Consulting, we are relational and not transactional. Thank you.